wide leg pants. Okay, it looks like a skirt if you don't look very well. It has elastic at the back. I put elastic at the back and my side zip here. So here we go. If you enjoyed the tutorial, please like my tutorial, share, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. See you. These palazzo pants, we're going to be using this fabric. I've already folded the fabric. The fabric is actually 4 yards, but we're going to be using 3.5 yards. And I actually spread it on the floor so you'll be able to see it well. So this is 3.5 yards like this. Okay, this is where 3.5 yards ends. But this is it here. This is the length. This is the length here by 60. And this is 3.5 yards, which I have folded over like this. So this is our double fold here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be taking one corner, this corner right here, this corner here, and I'm going to be folding it over to that side there. Okay, I'm bringing it here so that I can form a triangle. So I'm going to be cutting off all the excess. On this side that has one double folded edge, one folded edge and 2 open edges. This place has 4 open edges, and this place has the 2 double-sided edges. So I'm going to be working on this side here. The first thing I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to mark down 4 inches. I'm going to mark out 4 inches, which I'm going to use for that place, this place here. From the end here, I'm going to be marking 4 inches. This is what I'm going to be using for my crotch measurement, okay? So we're going to be taking 4 inches, okay? I will draw a straight line. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting our waist measurement divided. Our waist measurement will add 4 inches to it and we'll divide it by 3.14. And that gives me about 15 inches here. So I'm going to be measuring my 15 inches here. Okay, you turn it like this, 15 inches. From this corner here, from this tip here, I measure out 15 inches. That gives you the curve here, okay? It's not going to be straight. Remember, it's cut on bias to give you a full-fledged palazzo pants, okay? So we're working with this 15 inches. After then, we now want to get our crotch measurement. Remember, we said we measure from here 4 inches. So now we want to get our crotch measurement. Where is our crotch going to be placed? So to get our crotch measurement, our crotch depth, we're going to be doing our hip divided by 4 plus 1.5, and that gives you about 13.5. So that gives you 13.5. So we're going to be measuring our 13.5 all the way down, and our 13.5 ends right here. So our crotch measurement from our waist here, our crotch depth is 13.5, which I've marked here, 13.5. Then on this crotch line, you come up by 4 inches, okay, and mark here. At this place here, this diagonal here, this angle here, you come in by 1.5 and mark there. And you now connect all your points, okay? That's going to give you the crotch. That's going to give us, so this is our crotch now, okay? So the next thing we're going to be doing now is that we're going to take the length of our trousers. So to mark out, we're not going to mark out our trousers. The next thing we're going to do, on this waist measurement, you put your tape starting 2 inches above, okay, and you mark it out, okay. I'm using 43 inches, so we have just enough at the end of the trouser. You move your tape to the center part, mark out your 43 inches again. I marked it before with the camera, I don't think you cut it. You mark out your 43 inches, you move it again here, and you mark out your 43 inches. Okay, so now we are going to cut. So the first thing I'm going to be doing now is that I'm going to be cutting from here. I'm going to open up the two sides. Okay. This is the front part and the back part. I'm going to cut this part also. Okay. I'll come to this crotch area here. Okay. And flip it over. This is for the front, and this is for the two fronts. I'll use this as my back pattern. Okay. Then I'll flip it over. Okay. And I'll come in by 1 inch because this bottom part is actually the front part, and the front crotch is not the same as the back crotch. So I'm going to be reducing the front crotch by 1 inch. I'm just going to draw my line. I'll come here and I'll mark it all the way. Remember, the front crotch is not the same as the back when we're making our trousers. So this I'll trim out now. While I'm trimming this out, I'm also going to be trimming out my crotch. Okay, I'm going to first trim out the bottom crotch first. Okay. That's the 1 inch. We trim it out. Then now we can now trim out our front crotch. So next thing we're going to work on this waist. Okay, this is the back waist. Remember I told you that we took it up by 2 inches. Okay, we took it up by 2 inches, a bit higher than the front one. So what we're just going to be doing is we'll come here, okay, which is the hip side. Okay, we'll come up by 2 inches. Okay, and you connect it to the front crotch. Okay, you connect it to the back. Remember the back crotch. Sorry, at the back. So we're going to come back to this side now, to the waist part. At the back crotch here, we're going to come up by 2 inches. Remember we said our measurement is 2 inches. When we come up by 2 inches, we're going to connect it to the waist. Okay, we're going to connect it to the hip side here. Okay, we're going to connect it to the hip side, just like that. That is for the back. Okay, that is for the back. We'll connect it like that. Then this is for the front. The front, when we cut it out, I'll show you how we're going to layer it. I'll just notch, we'll notch it at the side, at the waist part, we'll notch it so that we know what we're working with. The next thing we do now is we cut it out. So we've notched, we're going to notch here, and now I'm going to cut out. Remember, this is the front part. Okay. So I'm going to open by the sides because I need pockets on it. But before then, you remember we notched the front here. Okay, let's open it by the sides. Let's open it at the four sides. Because they're going to have pockets. If it wasn't going to have pockets, we could just join them like this. They're going to have pockets. Okay, so we're taking out, this is the back part. This is the back parts of the palazzo pant. The next thing I'm going to be doing now is working with the front. Remember, I notched the front where the waist was. So I'm going to bring down the front, okay? I'm going to be bringing down, so I'm going to bring down the front, okay, by, remember this is the front, I'm going to bring down the front by about 1 inch, okay? This is the center front where the crotch is, okay? And I'm going to be connecting it to the waist here. Remember that this is the back measurement here that I cut on the back. That's why we have a bit excess. But this is where the waistline starts from originally. But you know, we raised it at the back. That's why we have this amount still here. So this is the original waist measurement. But I'm going to bring it down by 1 inch. Okay, so that it will rest. So that it will lie flat. Okay, and we'll just trim that off. Just lower it there. Okay, so this is the front. So the first thing I'm going to be doing when I go to my sewing machine, I'm going to be joining the crotch. Okay, after joining the crotch, I'm going to create my pockets. So I'm going to be doing my pockets, and the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to measure my pocket down. I want my pockets to be about 7 inches deep. So it's going to be about 7 inches and 1.5. So I'll just connect it. I'll just connect my pocket like this. This is 1.5 and this is 7 inches. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to trim it off. I'm going to trim this off to be able to form my pockets. So this is the back piece. I have gone ahead to join it at the crotch. I've gone ahead to join it at the crotch. This is the waist here. And before joining, I did weaving. I knitted it and weaved it out. So this is the back piece. Okay, this is our back piece. This is the crotch here. And this is the waist. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my front piece. This is my front piece here. As you can see, I weaved it and I joined it on the crotch here. And this is the waistline, okay, of the front piece. And these are the pockets here. The pockets, the ones I cut out. So I'm going to fold them together so that'll be easier to understand. Okay. So this is the crotch here, and this is the pocket part here. So this is the pocket part in the front, the two fronts. Remember, I'll join by this space here. So what you do is that this is it here. I'd already cut it out. I thought the video was recording. these are the two pockets. You face them right side to right side. Is 11 inches by 9. Okay, then you place both of them together. Okay, put it on top like this, let it align. Okay, and trim out. This was what I trimmed out from it. I actually felt the video was recording, so I trimmed this out. Okay, you trim it out like that, then you take this right side, you put it on one side like this, right side facing right side. Okay, make sure it aligns, pin it down and sew along this line. You take the second one, you place it like this, and you place it like this all the way here, and we'll sew it down like this. We'll sew it down like this. I'll go and sew it on the machine and come back and show you the finished product. So I've sewn both of them down. The next thing you do is you come over and you flip it over. You flip it over like this. After flipping it over, you iron it down. You flip it over like this. This is satin, so it's really, you iron it down and you can top stitch. Okay, you iron it down and you can top stitch, and you top stitch on top, just to give you a very neat pocket. So to finish fixing this pocket, you'll be wondering why this is here. This is here because remember that this place we cut it down. It's not, we actually increased the back. Okay, we brought it down by 1 inch in front so that it's going to sit well. You know, when you lower the waistline of your skirt or your trousers, that's what happened there. So we're going to bring this one like this. Okay, we'll iron it down. After ironing it down, you bring the back piece. Okay, this is the back piece here. Okay, and it's going to face you like this, and this is what you're going to do. The back piece also has to align. Okay, the back piece has to align. Remember, it's not straight, so the back piece has to align. And also remember, we'll cut out 1.5 inches from there, so make sure that you have more than 1.5 inches at this point here, because we cut out 1.5 inches. Good. So the next thing you're going to do is you pin it down. Okay, and you go to your sewing machine. You're going to sew all the way here. You're going to be sewing on this front part here. Sew it all the way to this point here. Okay, on this point here, you're going to be sewing the pocket. You open it here and sew from this point here all the way down and all around the pocket, from the inner part all the way around like this. Okay, and you're knitting it. So I'll do that quickly and I'll come back and show us. So this is the pocket. The pocket has been sewn. You can see it here. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing, remember I said we're going to trim off this excess here. Then this part is the second pocket here. Okay, this is the second pocket here. I'm going to be trimming off this part and weaving it. And just like I said, we sewed it down, sewed it all around here. So now the next thing I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to take my back piece. I'm going to be taking my back piece and fixing it on the front piece. This is my back piece now. Okay, this is my back piece. So what I'm going to be doing with my back piece now is that I'm going to fix it. Remember that we cut off 1.5 inches here. Okay, so I'm going to be taking my back piece. We'll just fix it center to center here. Okay, center to center here. I'll fix my center here, my center line to center line here. Okay, I'll pin it down so that it doesn't shift. Remember, it was like 1 inch higher, 2 inches higher. I'll just pin it down and I continue all the way. I'm going to be trimming this off, so I pin it down. Okay, and I'm going to sew it down here. Remember that we cut off 1.5 inches here, so I'm going to be cutting this. I'll be trimming off the 1.5 inches. Remember, we came down here, we came out here 1.5. Okay, and I trimmed it all the way to this place. So this place now, I'm going to be trimming it off. Okay, but before then, I just want to show you how I arrange it. Okay, if you can notice, this is 1.5 inches, 2 inches there. So I'll come all the way here, and I'll start my sewing from here, and I sew it down all the way the sides. Okay, the 2 sides, but I'm going to have my zip at the left side. I'm going to have my zip at the left side. So when I get to the pockets here, when I'm joining all the way up here, when I get to this pocket around here, just like 3 or 4 inches before the end of the pocket, I'm going to stop. That is on the left side, so that I'll be able to fix my zip onto it. So let me just go and do that, and I'll come back and show you. Okay, so I'm done with sewing, closing up this place. So remember, I said we're going to leave like 2 inches from the pocket line, okay, before joining. So the next thing I did was I've prepared my band. My band is 2 inches wide, okay, on double fold. Okay, this is it here, 2 inches wide. I ironed cloth gum behind it, okay, interlining behind it. I folded it into 2, so I have exactly 2 inches here. Okay, so I'm going to be putting my band, okay, starting from here. I'll first pin it down. Okay, we'll sew the inner parts first, the inner one first. Okay, so I'll just pin it round. I'll pin it round. I'll pin it all the way around till I get to the other side. After doing that, after pinning all the way around, I'll come here and sew it down on this side. After sewing it on this side, I'll turn it over. Okay, after I've sewn it down on the first side, I've sewn it down here, then I'll turn it over, okay, and sew it down on this side, round, all the way round. That's our band. After doing that, we'll now come to the zip. But after I finish sewing this, I've sewn the band, I'm going, remember, we've not closed this part here, we've not closed the crotch part here. Okay, so what you're going to do is that you take the crotch from the inside, the crotch of the front and the crotch of the back. Is very, very easy. You take it here, you open it up, okay, you take both of them, make sure they are aligned, you open it up and just sew it all the way down, sew it all the way down to the hem of the pants, all the way down till you get here. Then you sew it the other way too. Okay, after I finish doing all this, I'll come back to show you how it looks before we start fixing the zip. So I fixed my zip. Unfortunately, I fixed it on the right side rather than the left side, but you know, for the purpose of this video, it's okay. I can change it to the left later on. But basically, when you're doing something that has just one side, it's always, well, the rule is that you fix it on the left side. So I'm just going to trim off my extra zipper here. Okay, just leave a little allowance inside. Okay, so there we go. And those are my pants, my wide leg pants. Thank you so much if you've watched it up to this point. See you in the next video. Bye.